Little Vk56 update video here. Been working out of town, so it's kind of slow and steady, but I have been picking away at it and getting some parts. Have a look at those right now. Boop. Here's the car. She needs a little bit of love herself, but running and driving. Here we got the Vk56 2014 Titan. So just kind of been stripping it down and getting it ready for the swap. Got some plates made up on either side. So, you know, we're making some headway. Capped off some of the coolant inlets, so like for the heater, and it had a throttle body coolant deal, and I just like to eliminate all that. It's coolant in, coolant out. Pulled off the pan because we need some pretty extensive oil pan modifications, but here is some of the parts I've gathered. So we got some healthy cams here from Kelford Cams with some stiffer springs and shims. Here you can see the specs on the cams. They should be a healthy cam for the NAV8. I found a company that does aluminum valve covers. So these are aluminum. They are painted silver, which I'm not a huge fan of, but better than those plastic shitty units. So aluminum valve covers, and then to eliminate the oil fill, big bulky truck type unit, I got this. So kind of go on top of the valve cover there, make a little cap. So that's how the oil gets in, aluminum valve covers. And then this is obviously the oil pan that we got to modify. So I cut out a whole bunch of crap off the back section here. Obviously this was a rear sump for a truck, so we're going to be moving all the oil capacity to the front and then making a pickup tube on the front of it. Let's flip it over here. I think this is the most challenging part of the swap, is getting this done. So this is obviously a truck oil pan, so this tube usually goes all the way back here. There's some structural stuff in the back of it too. So I left most of where the bow housing will bolt up to, kind of flattened it off, and our pickup tube will go right here. And then the oil filter's there, and oil pump in and out. This is how other people have done it, so I'm gonna kind of go off of what's been done before. Not a whole lot of research available or data available for this swap, so kind of doing it on my own. So because we're making our own oil pan, I need to be able to drain it, and also the dipstick location has been removed, so I gotta figure that out still. But basically this is going to be our oil drain, so kind of taper the pan to one side and put it either off the side or somewhere around here. Obviously this is our fill. I might do like a little sight gauge to see if the oil's been full, or I don't know. We got to figure out the dipstick still situation. So that's that. There's the motor. What other things was I going to say? Oh yeah, because this is usually an automatic. There's no manual ever offered for this engine. The RPM sensor or crank angle sensor is usually on the back of the motor. And with my adapter plate from Collins, which I also have here buried under there, there's no spot for the sensor to go. So what guys have done is made their own little location and use the factory flex plate. But what I'm going to do is put a trigger wheel on the front of this, and then make like a little standoff to hold the sensor. So that's another modification that we're going to have to do. And then we can get our trigger sensor here from the front of the engine as opposed to the rear. I think that'll be easier with the swap. And then I'm going to use the transmission and hopefully most of the driveline stuff that I already have. And then as far as fuel goes, it's going to run on the same fuel setup I got. Don't have to change any of that. It's going to run on the Haltech, which is already in the car. It's drive-by-wire, so I already have the pedal installed. It's just a matter of wiring it up. I can get the mechanical aspect of this in the car pretty easily. Shouldn't say easily, but doable. But then I'll have to send it off to get the engine wired up. So I was maybe just going to throw a couple of these parts on here and kind of see what it looks like, and yeah, after that, I go start making this pan. Yeah, let's see what it looks like. There you have it. So she's gonna look a little bit more, I don't know, refined. I just like the way these look compared to plastic ones, and they don't sweat, and they're way easier to service. So we'll make a little cap for the top here. That'll be our oil fill. I gotta take off the whole front cover, timing chain cover, to put the cams in. So when I do that, I'll probably have that painted as well. New water pump and all that good stuff. And then I put the oil pan on the bottom so you can kind of see what I'm after here. So like I said, most of the oil capacity is obviously pushed to the front, and then the S13 subframe will kind of fit in that void there. So just for reference, I got another VQ sitting here, and this one works obviously in my car. So we're basically trying to achieve that style of setup into that engine. So that's the oil pan, but not going to be a lot done until I get back. But I think it'll look pretty cool with the oil pan. Like I said, I'll have a little drain on the side there, and then I'll probably have some oil cooler, maybe remote filter, I don't know. We'll see how it kind of all fits in the car. If I need to move it, I will. Obviously I have to make some headers. So all in all, should be a pretty cool build. I've never worked on one of these, so this is all new to me. However, it does look pretty similar to a VQ. So I got a little spring compressor tool coming from Jim Wolf Technology, meant for KA, VQ, and VK spring, whatever the word I'm looking for, replacement, compression, whatever. So I got to pull these cams out, put new springs and shims, and then put the cams in. So the whole front of the motor's got to come off. So oil pan, cams, then I'll assemble it, put it in the car. I do have my Collins adapter sitting somewhere around there in that junk pile. So I'd like to bolt this all up as one unit, kind of put it in the car before I make engine mounts or anything, and then the headers will be last. So it's kind of the update for now. Don't know what I'm going to do about the intake. Might just run a truck intake for now. Do have plans to build a aluminum one, but I'd rather have this thing running hopefully this season, because I know time's coming up quick. I would like to have this installed. Worst case, I'll just throw some nitrous at the VQ in the meantime, but I would like to have this motor in there before May. So got some work ahead of me. That's the update.